Hi everyone, today I wanted to dive into the topic of what pelvic floor dysfunction actually can limit you from in your life. And I know before I had pelvic floor dysfunction, I did not realize how many limitations there actually is if you have pelvic floor dysfunction. And the purpose of this video is really for anyone who's just looking into like a preventative purpose of understanding if you don't take care of your pelvic floor in a good way, what may happen. And also, I don't want to scare anyone, but if you already have pelvic floor dysfunction, chances are more things will come that you will feel limited from if you're not trying to change this, if you're not trying to support your pelvic floor. So I just want you all to be aware of the risks without frightening anyone, because also I know that this channel hopefully gives you a lot of hope and methods and techniques and tools to change and reverse pelvic floor dysfunction. So again, I don't want to scare anyone, but I think it's reasonable for women to know that there are certain risks if you don't take care of your pelvic floor health. So before I dive into, I had to write a list, and this was just like the top of my mind things. So there are probably more, but I think this list is enough. Before I dive into the list, I just want to encourage you to subscribe to this channel, like this video, and maybe share it with a friend if you think it's helpful. Okay, so I have divided the different limitations into different topics. The first one is daily routines and social life. So how would pelvic floor dysfunction potentially limit you in this area? So what might be things that you would feel limitations in doing when you are in the context of just daily routines or a social situation? Sneezing or coughing, for obvious reasons, and the same with laughing. Traveling without worrying about bathroom access, that's a huge one. Women make plans for just to go like to the supermarket, but they need to know exactly where all the potential stops are for the toilets. Attending social events, of course, wearing tight clothing or wearing different types of clothing. So jeans could be one example, or things that you have felt pretty in before, but now you are not able to wear because of pain or just because of feeling uncomfortable. Sleeping through the night without waking, standing up after sex without leaking, feeling confident in your body despite symptoms, and that's also a huge one, just in general, like feeling like yourself, feeling like you are a normal human being. Doing household chores that requires twisting. So when you are cleaning, like vacuuming, or you're putting your body in different types of postures, which creates pressure onto the pelvic floor. Same thing with gardening. For many women, they have to stop doing like the garden stuff and things like that. Basic movements and posture. Standing for long periods can be a huge challenge, even sitting for extended periods. Walking long distances, climbing stairs, squatting for sure, bending over, getting up from a chair, rolling over in the bed, sitting up from the bed, lifting objects and carrying heavy things. Yeah, I think I had all of these. Actually, bending over was a nice one for me because I felt the bladder prolapse kind of when I did like a forward fold completely with my upper body down. It felt like the bladder kind of came up over onto backside of the pubic bone again. So that was actually a nice one. Exercise and fitness, running or jogging, jumping, weightlifting, of course, high impact workouts, yoga poses, Pilates movements, cycling, swimming, and stretching. So almost everything you can do as a type of exercise or fitness. And that's why I'm so happy that on this channel and over at Moonrise, we are actually creating classes like these, not the high impact workouts, not running or jogging or jumping, but like yoga, Pilates and stuff like that, for you to feel safe when you practice, so that you are not creating stress, tension and pressure onto your pelvic floor. Okay, toileting and hygiene. Urinating without urgency or leakage. Holding urine for a normal amount of time. Having a bowel movement without straining. Yeah, so many women are constipated with pelvic floor dysfunction, and it's not great to be sitting on the toilet for a long time straining. It's probably going to cause even more symptoms or discomfort. So that's an important one to deal with. Avoiding constipation or diarrhea. That's also another one. It could be the opposite, not only constipation. Wiping without discomfort or difficulty. And here, actually, I'm so happy to have an Indian husband. We had to install this bidet. Is it called that in English? When you use water to clean yourself, which is great. It's amazing. I love it. It's the only thing I use now. It also feels so much more fresh. Once you've started that, it's hard to use toilet paper. Using menstrual products without irritation or discomfort. Yeah, for me personally, I use panties, like menstrual panties, underwear. I've never liked to put anything inside of the vagina, so for me that was kind of not a loss. I know it is for many, because they feel like a cup or a tampon will fall out. But I do think it's the best thing we can do also for our pelvic floors is when we are menstruating to not put anything inside, because of many reasons, not only for the pelvic floor but for actually functioning of the uterus and for the blood to come out and stuff like that. Okay, sexual and intimacy challenges. Penetrative sex, of course, penetrative sex it's called. Orgasm difficulties for many, arousal issues for sure, also because you're just not confident enough, like you don't feel like a woman for many, including myself. Pain after intimacy, emotional stress related to intimacy and the actual dysfunction. It becomes so very in your face when you are intimate. So yeah, that's a big one. Like just the emotional piece can bring up so much other stuff. And then finally, core and breathing challenges. Engaging the core properly without overusing the pelvic floor. So if we look at the body, and especially the upper body with the pelvic floor as a floor, or like the bottom of it, we have a certain pressure in here. And what happens when we have a weak part, so either the core with like a diastasis recti or hernia or stuff like that, or the pelvic floor, and the pressure comes either way, it's going to create an imbalance, and you won't be able to hold posture or breathe properly or anything like that. Yeah, so maintaining good posture was the next one, and breathing deeply without discomfort. So yeah, many women start to breathe up here instead, and which just causes a cycle of stressful breathing and stress on the nervous system and even more stress in your life. So those are things that may be challenging in your life if you have pelvic floor dysfunction. As I said, this was just like the top of my mind things, probably other stuff. If you have other stuff and you want to share, please comment. I know it's so helpful for women also to just realize that we are not alone in this, and it's normal. Like no, sorry, it's common. But it is not normal. We should be able to live our lives fully. So share and like and subscribe, and thank you for watching.